this year, so I've been in office now just over 8 months, and have made immigration reform a priority and will continue to make it a priority. I'm glad that everyone got to see some of the details about what is going on in Washington, D.C. now and where we stand. I am not a fan of what the Republicans are doing by trying to piecemeal out the immigration reform bill. One of the reasons why it's called comprehensive immigration reform is because, we need a comprehensive approach to solving this broken system. And some of the things that the Republicans are going to put out there in the piecemeal, they're going to be attractive to some people. It's going to, once it's put out into the media, some people think that it's going to sound good. But we need to continue to stand together to make sure that we pass something comprehensive. Right now, everyone keeps asking me, what's going to happen in the House? The Senate has already acted. What's going on? Why can't we pass anything in the House? John Boehner, the Republican Speaker, has said that he is not going to pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill that a majority of the Republicans cannot vote for. And so the bill that has passed in the Senate, for all practical terms, for right now, is off the table. The bill that passed in the Senate was absolutely not a perfect bill. There were some big problems with that bill. But I wish the House could pass their own comprehensive bill, and then we can go to conference and try to work out those differences. That's the way the process is supposed to work. So the House should pass their own bill. Hopefully we will pass a stronger bill. But with John Boehner showing lack of leadership, right now it's really tough. And one thing that I always like to remind people is that, you think back to the 1960s when the Civil Rights Bill was passed, and immigration reform is a civil rights bill. But when you think of the immigration, the civil rights legislation that was passed in the 1960s by Lyndon Baines Johnson, there had to be Democrats and Republicans come together to pass that bill because they were controversial back then. Had people not stepped up to the plate and done the right thing, then I wouldn't be in Congress today. Voting would be much harder than it is today. The state of Texas electoral would not look like it does had the Voting Rights Act not passed. And it took people willing to make sacrifice, people willing to step away from their party ideology in order to get it done. And that's the sort of leadership that's needed now on comprehensive immigration reform. And one of the things that I always like to talk about is so many of the different immigration reform events that I've had the opportunity to be invited to go and speak at and be a part of. Here in Oak Cliff at Mountain View College, I had Luis Gutierrez, who really is one of the leaders on immigration reform, probably the foremost leader on immigration reform in the U.S. Congress. And we had Congressman Gutierrez come out and talk about immigration reform. I had my good friend who I was in the state legislature with, and now I have the privilege of serving with him in Congress, Joaquin Castro out of San Antonio. And we showed The Dream Is Now over in Fort Worth, and we had a panel and we talked about comprehensive immigration reform. And one of the things I like to remind people is just, how global the issue of comprehensive immigration reform is as well. I was invited to go and speak at an immigration reform event in Miami, Florida. And I wondered when I got there, how was it going to be different from maybe some of the immigration reforms I participated in here. And when I got there, I saw Haitians. Many of those Haitians looked exactly like me. And I saw the Haitians, same sort of fear, same sort of anxiety, like what Maria talked about earlier, concerned about their families. Dreamer events up in D.C. I met a young lady from Trinidad and Tobago, black girl. She was worried about what she was going to do when she graduated from college, because she knew that the time was running out and what was going to be her next step. This is a global issue that we all need to come together on and try to fix. And I've had 6 Congresses on your corners, and when you talk to families that are separated from their loved ones, and you look them in the eye, no matter whether if they're from Mexico, Honduras, Haiti, and you see the tears, and you see the fear, and you see the wanting to be with their families, like all of us do on an everyday basis, how can the U.S. Congress not act? It is wrong. The Republicans should be ashamed. They should be ashamed. We need to do something now. Look at the benefits that immigrants bring to Texas alone. When you look at the financial benefits that immigrants bring to Texas, there's a very conservative website, and this is conservative, and the name of the organization is the American Action. Let's see, hold on a second here. It's called the American Action Network, and they have this website. And if you go to the website, you can put in the state that you live in, and you can put in, you can choose which congressperson that you want to. And on that site, it'll show you how many jobs will be created by passing comprehensive immigration reform. In Texas alone, over 221,000 jobs will be created if comprehensive immigration reform will pass. In District 33, which I represent here, Oak Cliff, South Irving, Grand Prairie, Fort Worth, Arlington, over 15,000 jobs would be created if comprehensive immigration reform were passed. How can we afford to wait any longer? You know, when you talk about deportations, do people realize what would happen in Texas alone? What would happen? Immigrants spend billions of dollars on goods, pay sales taxes, contribute to the economy in many ways that people don't think about. And once you clear and get past the rhetoric, and you start looking at the reality of how comprehensive immigration reform would help Texans, would help Dallas-Fort Worth, we can no longer afford to wait. Our economy can no longer afford to wait, and our families can no longer afford to wait. I want to encourage everybody, if you have immigration problems, to call the office. Sam Acosta, who is here, who works in my office, he's one of the caseworkers in the office. He does an outstanding job. And I can tell you that there have been people in the immigrant community that have been taken advantage of, that have paid exorbitant fees to attorneys and what have you. Call our office first and ask whether or not we can help before you spend a bunch of money on an attorney. We will tell you whether or not, and honestly, a good attorney, before they take your money, they will tell you whether or not they can help you or not, and whether or not it's realistic. But if we'll tell you whether or not we can help you or whether or not it's a legal issue and you do need to hire an attorney. Some of the stories I've heard about people spending thousands of dollars just to be told, no, I'm sorry, we can't help you. That's ridiculous. That should not be happening. People should not be exploiting people for their own personal gain. It's wrong. And so we want people to call the office. We had someone recently call the office that they were about to be deported, and we were able to stop that from happening. You know, we were able to save them for another year from being deported, and those are the sort of things that we can help with. There's a lot of different processes that the congressional office can be very helpful with and very useful with, and we want you to call. The office is at Sylvan and I-30 in the Chase Bank building there next to the Valero station. And so we want you to utilize the office and let us know how we can be helpful. I'm going to continue to champion immigration reform in the House. It's something that I'm going to continue to talk about and make it a priority because it's the right thing to do. And our families can't wait any longer. The country can't wait any longer. And any bill that passes, there needs to be a pathway to citizenship. You notice that there's no real pathway to citizenship in many of the proposals that the Republicans are laying out. That's ridiculous. We cannot have a permanent underclass built into our society. Every immigrant group that has come to America to help make America a better place, they've had the opportunity to become citizens. And that should be no different than the 11 million that are living in the shadows right now. So those are just some of the things that I believe in, that I'm for, and we're going to continue to talk about this, whether or not it passes in this Congress or the next one. I want you to know that. And I just want to thank Todd for allowing me to come and speak also. This has been a very good event, and I want to just really thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. So thank you very much.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Del grupo que va a hablar con ustedes, tenemos a Marc Veasey, el congresista. We have the Congressman Marc Veasey, and then we have Karen Pennington, who is an immigration attorney and follows policy daily. Karen Pennington es una abogada de inmigración que está muy involucrada en las leyes y siempre, diariamente, está al tanto de los cambios en las leyes. También tenemos a Margarita Álvarez, que es una gran luchadora. We also have Margarita Álvarez, who is a fighter. Margarita es miembro líder del TOP. Margarita is a leader and member of TOP. She has been fighting since her native Guatemala. Ella ha estado luchando desde Guatemala, de donde ella vino, y nunca ha dejado de pelear un día, and she has never stopped fighting. And then we have Eric Burgos, the master DJ over there. Tenemos a Eric. Eric Burgos ha hecho mucho trabajo con North Texas Dream Team. Entonces vamos a dejar que cada quien se presente y nos diga algo de ellos por un ratito. We'd like everyone to present themselves and to tell us a little bit about what you do. So, you want us to introduce you already? Okay. Marc Veasey ya lo conocemos, entonces pasamos con Karen Pennington.
I'm an immigration lawyer with an office at I-635 between Abrams and Greenville on the westbound access road, and I'm a sole practitioner. My office is about one exit from Catholic Charities.
Soy una abogada de inmigración que tiene la oficina en el 635
Between Abrams and Greenville.
entre la Abrams y la Greenville. Y tengo 15 años de hacer esto. Estoy cerca de... Estoy en Richardson, ¿correcto? No,
In Dallas.
En Dallas.
Catholic Charities is in North 35.
Okay, estoy aún en Dallas, cerca de Richardson, cerca de Caridades Católicas.
Muy buenos días, mi nombre es Margarita Álvarez y gracias, Connie, por decir un poco de mi biografía. Realmente no quiero hostigarlos tanto, sé que están cansados